What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You guys join me with the C63 here today, and in this video we're actually going to be taking the car on its first official test drive. Now I know I posted a couple videos on the channel already driving this car, like the road trip video and stuff like that, but I did want to share you guys my updated impressions with this car, give you guys kind of the ownership experience thus far. I've owned this car for 3 months or so now, which is kind of unbelievable to think how fast time has flown by. But if you guys are new to the channel, this is my 2019 Mercedes C63 AMG. This is not a C63S, just a standard C63. It's finished in brilliant blue metallic. It is a beautiful color, especially when the sun hits it on a day like today. It really pops. This is a facelift car, 2019, so it has the Pan America grille, the updated headlights. It has the AMG night package, so you can see the black wing mirrors there and the black window trim. Regarding the wheels, these are the AMG cross-spoke dynamic wheels. They're absolutely beautiful. A real pain to keep clean with all those spokes and the brake dust and everything, but still a very nice wheel. And if we take a quick peek inside, I'll go ahead and pop the hood for you guys. This is the 4-liter twin-turbo V8. Obviously, from Mercedes, been using it for quite a few years now. It is the M177, I believe. 469 horsepower and 480 foot-pounds of torque, I believe, in this C63. It has the updated 9-speed automatic transmission compared to the 7 speeds in the older cars. 0 to 60 for the standard C63 is rated at 3.8 seconds and 3.7 seconds for the C63S. The S gets around 30 more horsepower for 503, I believe. This car is rated at 18 city, 27 highway, so not the best fuel economy, but you're not really buying this car for the fuel economy, in my opinion. And the exhaust note of this car really is amazing. Obviously, the V8 C63s have all had amazing exhaust notes. This one is a little bit quieter because it is the facelift. They probably have a little bit more filters and everything in the exhaust. So let's take a quick look at the interior of the C63 here before we hit the road. This car has the full black leather interior. It has the AMG comfort seats, so it does not have the kind of sport buckets, but in my opinion, makes it a lot easier to get in and out of this thing, and for daily driving use, they're much appreciated. For the facelift, they give you an updated steering wheel. This car also has the full digital driver's cluster there, has the AMG carbon fiber trim in the center console, the updated infotainment. So let's go ahead and start the C63 up. We'll go ahead and just put the car in accessory mode first, and I'll show you guys the AMG Emotion Start, which is new for the facelift C63s and all actually newer AMGs. It's kind of hard to do it with one hand, but you have to push a paddle in and press the button at the same time, and it'll kind of rev up like crazy. So hopefully you guys were able to hear that. Gives the car a bit more pop, I guess, on the startup there, which is pretty cool. A little bit of a show-off feature, but still cool nonetheless. Let's go ahead and put the car down into Sport Plus here. You can see the kind of exhaust changes there. The exhaust valves went ahead and opened on their own, and let's give it a couple revs here. There is a rev limit around 4,500 RPM in park, but you can still hear. Yeah, guys, as you can tell, this car sounds absolutely amazing. But just to give you guys a better look at the interior here, like I said, this car has the full AMG driver's display here. I've already done a full tour on all this. I'll go ahead and link that video in the top right hand corner, but you can change the layout of the gauge cluster here. I have it in sport, but you can also put it in the super sport layout here. You can adjust stuff in the heads up display there as well. And if we move over to the center console here, this is the kind of AMG dynamic select track menu here. You can see I'll just go ahead and go down to dynamic data. You can see really cool stuff once that loads up. Give it a couple revs, gives you a live feed there. So really nice. Obviously the carbon fiber trim here, the analog clock, the AMG badging, and the command wheel to control everything. But with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and set up the GoPro and hit the road. Hi guys, welcome to the inside of the C63 here, and obviously this car is amazing to drive. I've already told you guys a little bit about that in the road trip video and stuff like that. But to just kind of pick up where we left off in that video, I mean, coming from the Audi S5, you know, this car is the next step up in performance, if you will. This is a full fat AMG twin turbo V8, you know, 500 horsepower-ish, something like that. The S5 was a great car. It's very dynamic, you know. It was much more toned down, in my opinion. The ride was softer. You know, you could never really dial that car fully all the way up, and that's, you know, to be expected. That car is not a full RS car or anything like that, but this being a full AMG is just absolutely amazing. It just feels like it's always ready to go, and I kind of talk about this in the road trip video, especially with the transmission. Like, as we kind of take off from a stop here, this car, it takes a little bit, you know, it's a little jerky to get moving. You know, the transmission is kind of, you know, always hunting for the next gear. I have the car in comfort mode and everything like that, so it's in its most like relaxed setting, if you will. But even in this setting, it's holding, you know, gears like crazy. It's searching for gears, you know, so I think that that is something, you know, that's not one of my favorite parts about driving this car, to be honest. You do have to kind of be mindful that this car is always ready to go, and any kind of immediate throttle input like this will just make the car just like take off. So we'll go ahead and put the car down into, we'll just go ahead and put it into Sport Plus here, and hopefully you guys can hear this exhaust. Just crazy. I think that I'm not 100% sure if this is true or not, but I think that when you put this car in Sport, or when you put this car in Sport or Sport Plus, I think it amplifies some sort of speaker noise of the engine. I'm not sure if that's something new that they put in for the 2019 facelift cars. I know one of the older C63s that I drove, that car had an exhaust work done and everything, so it's not really a good comparison, but I don't think that thing played anything through the speakers. This car, if you go ahead and kind of, yeah, this car has a little bit of something through the speakers, which is fine. I mean, I think that that's, you know, it's not anything that's like fake, if you will. It's just kind of amplifying the engine sound that's already there, but it is something that like you do kind of hear. So as we kind of, as we downshift here, I mean, it still sounds good. I mean, it's got to be very, very small, but it is something I've noticed. The exhaust is so like, it's great. And as you can hear, the transmission response is excellent. I know I've had my complaints, if you will, with this 9-speed, but when it's fully dialed up in Sport Plus and manual mode, it is one of the fastest shifting transmissions I've ever dealt with. One thing too, that never gets old. One other thing to note with this transmission, for the 9-speed, I believe the gearing itself is actually shorter than the 7-speed. Obviously, with more ratios, you're able to do that. And I think 8th and 9th gear in this car are more of a kind of an overdrive. But the first 7 gears are shorter in this transmission compared to the pre-facelift cars. So that was able to help get this car 0 to 60 down by, you know, that 10th or 2, like I said. So one other point I'd like to make here is that the ride in Sport Plus is crazy. I know that you would expect that sort of being in Sport Plus, it would be the stiffest, but like I am feeling absolutely every bump here. This road is pretty smooth in the first place. There's not really a lot of kind of broken pavement or anything like that. And you just feel the car just kind of searching all over the place. It's not unbearable and it's not kind of unsettling, but it really, it's just crazy how like kind of stiff this car gets once you dial it up into its most aggressive setting. But let's go ahead and put this car back into comfort mode and we'll go ahead and cruise for a little bit and just talk about the overall kind of driving dynamics in comfort mode, if you will. Actually, we have a Lamborghini Huracan right here. Look at this. That is a Huracan Spider. Hopefully you guys can see that. Huracan Evo 580 Spider. Really, really nice. The other kind of daily driver issues that I've had with this car, these touch controls on the right side and I guess the left side of the steering wheel are really, really dumb, in my opinion. I can't show you guys for like copyright reasons, but if you're playing music like on this car and you have to swipe down on this to actually get to the next track if you're like listening to like Bluetooth audio or something like that. It's really, really dumb. They should have just had a button here for next track. You can use the command wheel down here to kind of twist it to the next track, but even then I found that it gets a little laggy and stuff like that. And you want to keep obviously your hands on the wheel and you don't want to have to reach down, and to have a button here would just be so much easier, because you're like trying to like pinpoint with your finger. There's no like haptic feedback or anything like that either, so you can easily like scroll past things in the menu. And obviously with the trying for the next track and stuff, it's just not a very intuitive system whatsoever. The thing I do want to mention with this car, there are some creaks and rattles that I've noticed. More specifically, there's one, I don't know if you guys have been able to hear it a little bit, but there's one kind of under the steering column here. I'm not sure what it is. It feels like there's like a loose quarter or something, which is crazy to think about, but it feels like something is just kind of wobbling around in there. The other thing that this car does is a creak and rattle in the moonroof. I tried to use some WD-40 or re-lubricate the seals in the moonroof. Apparently that's a big thing with these Mercedes moonroofs in these cars, but that hasn't really help solve the problem. So yeah, I mean, this car is not without its faults. There are definitely some things that I'm still getting used to. You know, the performance and everything, the looks, everything like that far outweigh these kind of small other issues that I just mentioned. But it is something that, you know, you want to be mindful of if you're actually looking to purchase this car and live with it on a daily basis. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed the kind of more detailed driving impression video of this car. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for a lot of cool content coming very soon on this car and many others. And I'll catch you in the next one.